The Curses of Vodou, Part 1 by Drew Short and Xolali Togb-Wonyo. General information. Vodou, meaning spirit in the Fon and Ewe languages, pronounced Vodou with a nasal high tone U, also spelled Vodon, Vodou, Voodoo, or Voodoo, etc. It is practiced by the Fon people of Benin and southern and central Togo, as well in Ghana and Nigeria. This is a Vodou market in Lomé, Togo, 2008. Vodou is distinct from the various traditional African religions in the interiors of these countries and is the main source of religions with similar names found among the African diaspora in the Americas, such as the Haitian Vodou, the Dominican Vodou, the Cuban Vodou, Brazilian Vodou, um, also the Puerto Rican Vodou, and Louisiana Vodou. So, Vodou cosmology centers around the Vodou spirits and other elements of divine essence that govern the earth. A hierarchy that range in power from major deities governing the forces of nature and human society to the spirits of individual streams, trees, and rocks, as well as dozens of ethnic Vodou defenders of a certain clan, tribe, or nation. The Vodou are the center of religious life. Perceived similarities with Roman Catholic doctrines, such as the intersection of saints and angels, allowed Vodou to appear compatible with Catholicism and helped produce syncretic religions such as Haitian Vodou. Adherents also emphasize ancestor worship and hold that the spirits of the dead live side by side with the worlds of the living, each family of spirits having its own female priesthood, sometimes hereditary, when it's from mother to blood daughter. Patterns of worship follow various dialects, spirits, practices, songs, and rituals. The divine creator, called variously Mau, which is a generic word in Ewe meaning supreme being, God, or Mahu, is a female being according to Vodou. She is an elder woman and usually a mother who is gentle and forgiving. She is also seen as the god who owns all other gods, and even if there is no temple made in her name, the people continue to pray to her, especially in times of distress. In one tradition, she bore 7 children. Now, the names of Vodou deities include Sakbata, meaning Vodou of the earth, Hebieso, meaning Vodou of thunder, also associated with divine justice, Agbe, Vodou of the sea, Gun, meaning Vodou of iron and war, Age, meaning Vodou of agriculture and forests, Jo, meaning Vodou of air, and Legba, Vodou of the unpredictable. So this is Vodou Dan, a deity in Vodou worship. If you look at it closely, you can clearly see that it is a man, half a man, and a snake. The word Dan in Ewe, naturally speaking, is a descriptive name for a snake with respect to its natural ability to lift itself up and to launch itself. Da, letter da, meaning to launch or to elevate. It is in number 20 of the ancient Hebrew revived complete chart. However, da, technically speaking, which is according to the letters, is the, it means to elevate it, and then na, an element or a person. So da, according to the letters, is an elevated or an exalted person, as in Daniel. In other contexts, it is used in reference to kings and lords. Example 1, Adoni Bezek. It means king or Lord Bezek. The reference is Judges chapter 1 verse 6, or Adoni Zedek, which is king or Lord Zedek. And the reference is Joshua chapter 10 verse 1. So terminologies such as dan or don, dan or adon, adanya or adonia, with root consonants, the and the na, respectively. The to elevate or to exalt, and the na, element, a person. You have an exalted person. So this is number 20 and number 7 in the ancient Hebrew revived complete chart. So get your copy if you haven't yet. It is decrypting the ancient Hebrew with precision, and we have been using it ever since. Adon or Adon is an elevated or exalted person, and this is where Adon or Adoni derived from. It became technically, meaning according to the letter, a name attribute of the Most High, in the sense that he is the exalted one, Lord of Lords, even as Yeshu or Yashi, the arm of the Lord. Jesus in Greek is Adoni or Adonai, meaning exalted Lord. The reference is Isaiah chapter 1 verse Isaiah chapter 6 verse 1 from King James Version. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up. Okay, high and lifted up. Don, Don or Adon, Adon. And his train filled the temple. So Yahweh Adonai, Yahweh Dan, not as Dan a snake, but Dan according to the letters. Okay, meaning Yahweh the exalted one, Yahweh Lord Most High. So again, in the Yahweh idol worship called Vodou, Dan is a deity, and again, half human, half a serpent. It is a snake man. According to Vodou, the creator embodies a dual cosmogonic principle, of which Mawu, the moon, and Lisa, the sun, are respectively the female and male aspects, often portrayed as the twin children of the Creator. Lisa is the sun god who brings the day and the heat, and also strength and energy. Mawu, the moon goddess, provides the cool of the night, peace, fertility, and rain. To give this in a summed aspect, a proverb says, when Lisa punishes, Mawu forgives. Legba is often represented as a phallus or as a man with a prominent phallus. Known as the youngest of Mawu, he is the chief of Vodou divinities. In his diasporic portrayal, Legba is believed to be a very old man who walks on crutches. Being old, he is seen as wise, but when seen as a child, he is one who is rebellious. It is only through contact with Legba that it becomes possible to contact the other gods, for he is the guardian at the door of the spirits. So Dan is the androgynous sun, is represented as a rainbow serpent and was to remain with her and act as a go-between with her other creations. As the mediator between the spirits and the living, Dan maintains balance, order, peace, and communication. Other popular Loa or spiritual entities include Azaka, who rules over agriculture. Erzuli has domain over love, and Ogun, who is in charge of war, defense, and who stands on guard. All creation is considered divine and therefore contains the power of the divine. This is how medicines, such as herbal remedies, are understood and explains the ubiquitous use of mundane objects in religious ritual. Voodoo talismans are called fetishes, are objects such as statues or dried animals or human parts that are sold for their healing and spiritually rejuvenating properties. Especially, they are objects inhabited by spirits. The entities that inhabit a fetish are able to perform different tasks according to their stage of development. Fetish objects are often combined together in the construction of shrines used to call forth specific Vodou and their associated powers. Okay, this is again a Vodou market in Lome, Togo. So all this is according to the Vodou worship. The Queen Mother is the first daughter of a matriarchal lineage of a family collective. She holds the right to lead the ceremonies incumbent to the clan, marriages, baptisms, and funerals. She is one of the most important members of community. She will lead the women of a village when her family collective is the ruling one. They take part in the organization and the running of markets and are also responsible for their upkeep. This is vitality. Uh, this is vitally important because marketplaces are the focal points for gatherings and social centers in their communities. In the past, when the men of the villages would go to war, the queen mothers would lead prayer ceremonies in which all the women attended every morning to ensure the safe return of their menfolk. The high priestess is the woman chosen by the oracle to care for the convent. Priestesses, like priests, receive a calling from an oracle which may come at any moment during their lives. They will then join their clan's convent to pursue spiritual instruction. It is also an oracle that will designate the future high priest and high priestess among the new recruits, establishing an order of succession within the convent. Only blood relatives were allowed in the family convent. Strangers are forbidden. In modern days, however, some family members to enter what is described as the first circle of worship. Strangers are allowed to worship only the spirits of the standard pantheon. About 17% of the population of Benin, some 1.6 million people, follow Vodou. This does not count other traditional religions in Benin. In addition, many of the 41.5% of the population that refer to themselves as Christians practice a syncretized religion not dissimilar from Haitian Vodou or Brazilian candomblé. Indeed, many of them are descendants from freed Brazilian slaves who settled on the coast near Ouida or Yuda. In Togo, about half the population practices indigenous religions, of which Vodou is by far the largest, with some 2.5 million followers. There may be another million Vodouists among the Ewe of Ghana, as a 13% of the total Ghana population of 20 million are Ewe, and 38% of Ghanaians practice traditional religion. According to census data, about 14 million people practice traditional religion in Nigeria, most of whom are Yoruba practicing Ifa, but no specific breakdown is available. European colonialism, followed by some of the totalitarian regimes in West Africa, have tried to suppress Vodou as well as other traditional religions. This image is also from online. It depicts the campagne du Dahomey, prise de Cana, siege and capture of Cana, West Africa, 1893. Here we see colonists waging war against the West African Ewe Hebrews, which was an attempt to suppress their idolatry. However, because the Vodou deities are born to each clan, tribe, and nation, and their clergy are central to maintaining the moral, social, and political order of ancestral foundation of its village, these efforts have not been successful. Recently, there have been moves to restore the place of Vodou in national society, such as an annual International Vodou Conference held in the city of Ouida or Yuda in Benin that has been held since 1991. So, Vodou, aka Vodou, Vodou or Seville is commonly called Voodoo by the public. The name was derived from the god Vodou of the West African Yoruba people who lived in 18th and 19th century Dahomey. Its roots may go back 6,000 years in Africa. So, Vodou is a religion of many traditions. Each group follows a different spiritual path and reveres a slightly different pantheon of spirits. In one of its major forms, they are called Loa, which means mystery in the Fon language. Dahomean tradition belief included a supreme being called Nana Buluku. This is a androgynous being. This androgynous being is remote and unknowable. She or he generated Maulisa, who in turn created the earth and all life forms. Also, the other spirit come from her or him. There are hundreds of minor spirits. The transatlantic slave trade removed Africans from their lands, families, and cultures. On the island of Haiti, the Fon people from Dahomey, Benin, and also the Yorubas, Congos, and others combine their African beliefs with Catholic lithographs, rites, and practices into a coherent whole. Slaves joined these various religious elements to create a belief system and world view that constitute the core of Haitian Vodou. The term most commonly used to refer to the religion, Vodou, derived from the Fon word for spirit or God. More accurate spellings are Vodun or Vodun. Other proponents argued that the term voodoo is an invention of the West. It evokes malevolent uh, notions that are not part of the religion. Voodoo practitioners were forced to hide their religious practices and endured long periods of open persecutions and ostracism. Vodunists have finally begun to practice their religion openly since the 1987 Haitian Constitution recognized Vodou as a national religion. The majority of Haitians who are also Catholic do not see a contradiction in practicing both religions. Vodou today is practiced not only in Haiti but in Benin, the Dominican Republic, and various Haitian immigrant communities in the United States. Vodou is a comprehensive belief system and aesthetics that provides coherence within both the visible world and the realm of the invisible. It harmonizes the sacred and the profane, the material and the spiritual, and the world of the living with that of the departed, the ancestors, and the Lua or spirits. The Vodou ethos or worldview constitutes the basis of the moral system which regulates behavior, social interactions, and communal duties. Vodou shares a common ethical denominator with other world religions, a strong sense of justice and service, respect for elders, beneficence, forbearance, and humanism. The notion of the unity of all forces of nature is central to Vodou. The connection between the living and the spirits, the earth, the land, and various bodies of water is important in that all work together to seek balance and to restore harmony, and rhythm. The Loa preside over specific aspects of life and serve as intermediaries between the humans and the absolute supreme being God. The grant MET, some of the most important Ilowa are Atibon Legba, Marasa Dosu, Dambala, and Aida Wedo, Asaka Mede Ogun Fere, Aguen Towawo Ezili Freda Daome, La Sirene and La Baleine, and the Gedenimbo. All of these belong to the gentler Rada rites tradition passed down from West Africa. Other important Loa include Met Kalfu, Simbi, Andezo, Ezili Danto, and Bawon Samdi, who come from the more intense Petwo rite tradition, which originated in the New World. During voodoo ceremonies, the Loa possess or mount the devotees to communicate with the living and to answer questions. They deal with the human and spiritual conflicts, antagonisms, oppositions, and lack of harmony that are the source of moral ills and societal imbalance. They intervene in human affairs as they guide, chastise, and praise. They assist with healing and open channels to facilitate the continuous flow of energy. With imbalance, things do not flow. They are spoken of as being tied or blocked, which goes against Vodou's dynamic, fluid, and ever evolving philosophy. Vodou is a very practical religion that is primarily about sustaining life in the community. Its influences range from individual spiritual healing to the survival of the group and communal sustenance. It is grounded in the family and the community and underlies systems of traditional medicine, justice, art, music, education, and cooperative economics. Vodou is not only a belief system and world view, it is also a way of life and a mode of survival. Thus, for its followers in the United States, Haiti, and elsewhere, Vodou is present in all aspects of life. Again, this is The Curses of Vodou, Part 1, General Information.